Good morning, everybody. It's Ramona. Welcome back to another Cookalong. Today we are making the Macaroni Grill restaurant's copycat recipe of their focaccia bread. It is so good. I've made it lots and lots of times. Here in Houston, there used to be the Macaroni Grill restaurant all over town, but they're down to one now. They all closed. I don't know why, because it was always busy when I went, but the one that's left is way on the north side of town. It would take me like, I don't know, 45 minutes to an hour to get there, so it's not worth it. But the bread is still amazing. So they just bring out the bread in a basket, a little plate with olive oil and fresh cracked pepper. I'm good to go. Give me a jug of wine. That's all I need. It was so good. So I'm going to an Italian party later today, so I'm going to make this to bring with us with some Italian olive oil for dipping. So this is the recipe we're going to follow. It's on Pinterest. It's this one here, rosemary bread. You can see it has the olive oil there and it has a picture of bread with the rosemary on top. There are several different, if you don't want to use this one, macaroni grill focaccia or macaroni grill copycat bread. I've looked at several of them. The recipes are all the same. This is just the one that I had saved, so this is the one that I've been using, but they're all the same. So we will go there to visit. So now, this is the second time I'm filming this first little part because the first time I did it, the camera wasn't on. So I'm having that kind of day because when I went to start making the bread, I only had like a cup of flour left in my bin. It's like, what the heck is that? So then I had to run out and get more flour. Like, I'm a baker, I always have flour, but not today. Okay, so what I have done thus far is I have started proofing the yeast. So what is in this bowl is 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast, active dry yeast. I use the Fleshman's brand. I think that's the only brand I've ever seen down here. I have 2 teaspoons of sugar. Sugar is what you need to feed the yeast, and 1/4 cup of warm water. You don't want hot water because you don't want to kill your yeast. So the yeast is dormant until you activate it with the warm water. And then the sugar, as I said, is what feeds it. So as the yeast is growing in the warm water and the sugar, it emits some gas bubbles. And as the bubbles, grow and expand, that's what expands your dough and makes your dough rise. Something like, I don't know the whole scientific thing about it, but that's something like that. Okay, so that's all I have done here is the warm water, the yeast, and the sugar. And it says to let it rest for 5 minutes so the yeast can activate. So I'm going to turn it off and I'll be back. No, I'm not. I'm going to do something else. So Alexa, set timer for 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Okay, so in the meantime, we will chop some rosemary. I love fresh rosemary. You could probably do it with dried rosemary, but fresh rosemary, oh, it's so good. So good on lamb chops too. So, pardon me, how much rosemary do we need? 3 1/2 tablespoons of chopped rosemary. So just pull it off the stems this way or whatever way works for you. Try not to get the woody stem in there though, because that will not be appetizing. And yeah, I'm definitely a carb whore for sure. If there's any kind of bread around, you will find me close to it. Definitely, I cannot eat a lot of bread. And like, I haven't had a sandwich in, I don't know how long. I made an egg sandwich with 1 slice of bread cut in half a couple of months ago. It was good, but it takes up too much room in my pouch and just doesn't work anymore. So, but Jimmy John's has like sandwiches that are in a big lettuce wrap thing. Those are pretty good. I can eat like half of one of those. All right, I think we're almost done here. And this is probably going to equal about 3 1/2 tablespoons, but it's all I have, so it has to work. So we're just going to go with it. This is the last one right here. Pardon me. So you can use a knife or whatever you use to chop your herbs. I found this little gadget because, I love the gadgets. Can't have enough gadgets. I think that's all it. And I got this at Bed Bath & Beyond. It has like 1, 2, 3, 4 blades, so it's good for chopping herbs. Just kind of roll it back and forth. There's a stem. So yeah, so I'm going to this Italian party because I am going back to Italy in December. So we always kind of get together a couple of times. And what we did last time, which worked really well for us, is we knew what our plans were ahead of time. And pardon me, Marcella, one of the gals, is really good on Excel. So she made a spreadsheet. So we had, pre-booked some private tours and whatnot. We knew where we were going. So we had a couple of days, booked, and we knew where we were going, down to Florence, down the coast. We went to the Vatican. Then we just had a couple of days with nothing on the schedule, just kind of roaming around Rome. And so probably we'll do that again. This time we're going to go to Pompeii. We're going to go to Florence. We already did the coast with Sorrento, Amalfi, Positano. It was beautiful. We did Florence last time. And we're also going to do a Roman food tour. It's kind of like a progressive tour. You start out at one restaurant and you have an appetizer here and you go to the different restaurants. So we're going to do that as well. And drink a lot of Aperol spritzes. Okay, so that's our Rosemary. Hopefully it's enough. And Alexa, how much time left on my timer? Alexa, how much time left on my timer?
You have 1 minute and 40 seconds left on your 5-minute timer.
Okay. So I have my bread. I have my olive oil ready. I have salt. So we're going to get all this in the mixture. We're going to mix it, until it comes a nice ball of dough. And then we're going to let it rise. I think the first rise is an hour and a half. And the smell of yeast is going to be mesmerizing. It is so, so yummy. It's so good. Also, I was going to talk about this olive oil. This is one of the olive oils I bought back when I was there last time. And it has this designation right here, DOP. This is like when you have like the XO, bourbon, or I don't know because I don't drink bourbon, like the highest quality. That's what this is as well. And to get this designation, I guess somebody from the olive producer board, whatever, comes around, inspects your equipment, watches the way you're producing your olive oil, and if you're lucky, you get that designation. So this actually I would not be using for baking, but I don't have any lesser quality. This was more for like dipping and straight up, just dipping and eating straight up, but it's all I have, so we will be using that. So when I go back, I will be getting some more of that. It is so good. You can really tell the difference. All right, so I'm just going to review my recipe here. Allow to rest 5 minutes. We're going to add 1 tablespoon of olive oil, the remaining 3/4 of a cup of warm water. Whoops, let me get some more warm water, the flour, and the rosemary. Okay. Alexa, stop. Okay, 3/4 of a cup. All right. So, and actually, oh, no, I was going to say you save some of the rosemary for the top, which I might if I have a little left. We'll see. Okay. Alrighty then. Add 1 tablespoon of olive oil. And, for a while, this sounds really crazy, I know. But when I came back from Italy last time, every night before bed, I would take a tablespoon of olive oil just because it has such good properties. And I kind of got out of the habit of doing that. But actually, I might start doing that again. It sounds weird, but it's good. Okay, pardon me. Okay. The 1 tablespoon of olive oil, the remaining warm water, which just is 3/4 of a cup now. 1.5 cups of flour. There's a half. And we'll be adding more flour along the way. And a cup. 1.5 cups of flour, the rosemary. And am I going to have enough for a little bit of topping? Perhaps I'll save a little bit just to kind of sprinkle on the top when they're baking. The rosemary and fine salt. And the salt is 1 teaspoon. I just kind of... Good. All right. And using the paddle attachment, blend the mixture until combined. Okay, so I'm moving over to the stand mixer now. And let me turn on this light. Sorry guys, I really thought I had it together by using the extension cord, but not today. All right, so we're locked down. We're just gonna mix this. Oh, Lordy. My outlet shorts out. So we're just gonna get all this combined. Then we're going to add 1 more cup of flour when that's all combined. And it did say to use the paddle mixer, not the dough hook, but it's working. All right, I'm going to stop this, and I'm going to add another cup of flour. And it'll all come together with the dough hook. All right, I'm just reading my next until it's smooth and elastic. Adding additional flour as needed if the bowl is sticky. So it's coming together. Still some flour on the sides, but that'll come together. It smells so good. Oh my God. And I will scrape down the sides. I love making bread. The best part is the kneading. Okay, so you can see there now, it's starting to come together. It is still a little sticky. Can you see how it's sticking to the bottom there? So we're going to add a little more flour. Yep, more flour. And this you just kind of eyeball until you feel like it's not sticky anymore. So, my sister's coming back, Joanne, the one who called my wax collection the Bomb Shelter for Wax. So we are going to go to BYOB Bingo. We're just going to hang out at the pool. And I'm going to try to convince her to go live. We'll see how that goes. So I might be asking for some positive feedback to encourage her. We'll see how it goes. All right, still a little bit sticky. I'm just going to add a little bit more. So she really hadn't planned on coming this year. She was going to come in June, but the week that she could come in June, I couldn't. I was busy at work. I'm in a committee meeting that week. We're getting leveling at the hospital. It's a big deal, so I'm a part of that. So she's coming in August, and that's that. Okay, I think we're good here. I'm going to just turn this off for a second. And take it off there. And I'm just going to give the bottom a little, kind of get it all tossed in together. Okay. Okay, so I think that is good. Let me give it one more turn because it's still a little bit sticky. And then I'm going to be going home in October for Canadian Thanksgiving. And I'm very excited to meet Patricia Getz, Nose to Toes, on her YouTube channel is. And so we're going to hang out. We're going to have lunch, I think, one day. And Canada Kim will be moved to the East Coast by then. So I'm going to spend a night with Canada Kim. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I'll be heading home to see my family. All right, we're good. So you can see it's kind of a nice smooth ball now. Can you see that, kind of, sort of? That's kind of a nice smooth ball. So that's where I think we want it to be. All right. So I'm going to take the dough hook off again. And yes, so it is a little sticky, but it's definitely coming together a little bit better now. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Where's my paper towel? So now we are going to Cover bowl and allow to rest in a warm place until more than doubled, about 1.5 to 2 hours. So I'm going to cut it off here. It's 11:30, and I'll check back around 1 and see how it is. And hopefully it'll be ready for a punch down and the second rise. So I will see you in a bit. Bye. Hey everybody, it's Ramona. Welcome back. So the dough has risen an hour and a half, and I had some clothes going in the dryer, so I actually just kind of set this in the laundry room, not on top of the dryer, but on top of the washer, just not to get too much heat, but enough to make it rise, and it did. So we are going to punch it down for the second rise. So we're going to put some flour down here, and make sure we can see it. And we will dump out the dough. Oh, smells so good. I love dough and bread. Okay. Come on. Okay. Alrighty then. So we'll just take a little more flour so it doesn't stick, and just kind of start twisting and folding. Fold and twist like a quarter turn. And you can kind of hear the air bubbles pop out. Twist and fold, fold, twist, fold, twist. Oh, it's getting really smooth. That's what it should be doing. And just kind of punch it. So I don't know, everybody has their own way. I see bakers on TV, they kind of do the stretching thing. I've never really tried it. I'm not going to try it right now. Not a good time for practicing. But this is what I have done. This is how I was taught. So I'm just kind of like giving it a quarter turn, and I'm pulling it over and pushing it down in the middle. And I'm giving it a quarter turn and pushing it down. Make sure it doesn't stick. So push, turn and 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 push. And just keep going till, like I say, it's nice and smooth, and it's getting really nice and smooth. Let's give it another couple of turns, and I think we'll be good to go. And I forgot to pull up the recipe. Yeah, that's looking really good. So as I said, this makes 2 loaves, so we're going to cut this in half, and I'll give it another couple of turns. But let me get the recipe back up here. Not really organized today, but where'd my recipe go? Bread. So I hope everybody's having a great weekend. I'm off for 4 days. Every third week in my matrix, I get a 4-day, here it is, 4 days off. But then on the other hand, after my 4 days, I work 2, off 1, work 2. So then I work the next 4 out of 5 days. So that's always the tough week. Anyway, I'm just babbling. Killing time. Okay, my recipe's up. Okay, where are we at? Okay. Okay, all right, yep, so let me divide it in half, and just gonna eyeball it here. I could weigh it if I was really anal about it, but I'm not. And we'll just give it a few more turns, and make 2 nice little buns, 2 nice little round loaves. Okay, yep, and you can see the rosemary. Looks good. Okay, so the recipe says you can use a grease baking sheet. I just have a parchment lined sheet right here, and I'll show it to you in just a second. Okay, twist and turn, twist and fold, twist and fold, twist and fold. And you can, like I said, you can hear the little air bubbles popping out, but that looks really nice and smooth. That looks really good. Yummy. Okay, so just some parchment paper on a cookie sheet or whatever. That one doesn't look very round. Okay. Okay, so blah, blah, blah. Allow to rest uncovered until more than doubled for about another 1.5 hours. So I will be back in 1.5 hours and we will continue on. I will see you later. Bye. Hey everybody, welcome back. The dough has rested now for 1.5 hours. The oven is preheated. During the last 15 minutes, I turned it on to 400 degrees to preheat. So the instructions say I'm going to put it in the oven for 10 minutes. Then I'm going to take it out, brush it with olive oil, and sprinkle tops with kosher salt. And I'm going to sprinkle a little of the leftover basil that I have. I'm going to put it back in for 10 to 15 minutes until it's golden brown, and I will be back when all that is done. So I will see you later. Bye. Hey everybody, we're back with the finished product. It came out of the oven 15 minutes after I basted it or brushed it with olive oil, salt, and the leftover rosemary. Something went very wrong today, and this never happened before, but it cracked. You can see a crack there, and you can see a crack there. Usually they just come out nice and even, like a smooth little round bun. So if any of you bread makers out there know what happened, I'd love to know. Did I use not enough flour, too much flour? I mean, I did everything the same way that I usually do, so it's kind of perplexing. However, it smells divine, and it's taking everything I have, not to tuck into this right now and dip it in some olive oil, but I have to take it with me, so it wouldn't be too impressive if to take a big hunk out of one. So that's it. I hope you try it. Like, bread making is really easy. It's fun. I love making bread. The problem is I love eating bread, but I do love it. So check it out, and I hope everybody's going to have a great weekend. I will see you soon. Bye.